AfterBuzz and iZombie fans, we cannot wait to talk about part 2 of Brainless in Seattle. I almost said Sleepless in Seattle, but we've got love triangles, open relationships, young love, and we can't wait to speak about it, so don't click that mouse.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh yeah. Guys, welcome back to another episode of our after show of iZombie. It's our favorite time of the week, and you know what? I can't wait to talk about it. But before we do, let's introduce our lovely host. I'm Ally Nasta, and this is the lovely Drew Jones.
What up, y'all?
Nakia.
Hey, girl, hey.
I always want to call her Kiki Boom Boom.
You can.
That's her social media
Kiki
handle.
Boom Boom.
And you know what? That's all we call each other by anyways these days. Right?
Duh.
Am I right? Alrighty, guys. Well, overall thoughts of the episode, go.
Hilarious. It was really good. I mean, because we seen part 1 last week, so I was really excited to see part 2. But I found myself LOLing really hard again for part 2, so I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was really funny. But I'm also left on like kind of a cliffhanger. Like I'm nervous about the whole Renegade situation, which we'll get into. But otherwise, I thought it was hilarious. The brains they were on were funny. It was a good episode all around.
I know, it's fun to see live in love,
AKA
helpless
love.
in love. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, and especially this brain, because she's super goofy on this one, and she just falls in love with everything she sees.
Yeah, I feel like it gets progressively worse the longer she's on the brain. Like on the Annie brain, the longer she's on it, like the worse she gets. And so like she was really bad this episode
Right.
in comparison to the last one.
Like the more she can't hold back her actual live self, it just like the full character comes through.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like a fairy tale, actually. Like, I feel like this brain is literally on fairy tale drugs. Because everything, like, even like the one scene where she's looking for like a certain product when she's cooking, everything is
yeah.
overly dramatic
The
and
vanilla
overly
extract.
in love and overly everything. So she had me dying. First of all, her characters are amazing, though.
Yeah. I mean, she's just a really talented human being because
She is.
we've seen her for 4 seasons now depict every single character so flawlessly, and it's just like, it's crazy how she can just go back and forth and it doesn't look like she's trying too hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I feel as if some actors may make it look a little different, you know, when they go back to, if there's a scene, I don't know, this is going off on a tangent, but you know what I'm saying.
know,
She just does it
girl.
great. But let's get into it. Serial killers.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun,
They
dun.
found the culprit, which was Bruce Holtz.
Yeah.
Little jerk. And I think I said this last week, not to toot my own horn, but I think we all kind of said this though, like that we figured out, because Renegade kind of hinted towards it, that he was literally luring people for their money and getting them over the wall and then killing them, which is insane to me.
Well, it is.
Which is
It's-
nuts.
Well, it's totally insane too, because one, he's a serial killer, which it's really interesting to have a serial killer in this storyline, because it's almost as if the zombies kind of get a free write-off almost, because they can't really help it. But this
Yeah.
is a person that can, well, I mean, obviously if there's a serial killer, there's something wrong with their brain. So it's just crazy though, because they thought obviously it would be a zombie, and then it actually has to be a human that's messing with these zombies. It's crazy.
Yeah, I love that. One, I love that. Didn't it look like it was Craigslist? That was the message boards. I was like, this looks a lot like Craigslist, but okay. But I love that Ravi was so like in this like not mystery, but he's like a part of this case,
Right.
Like him becoming the rich doctor who has to get home to his wife, his pregnant wife. And like he has like the
statue.
the statue that's actually a plastic piggy bank, and he's like, oh yes, this is Malaysian.
I love his new accent.
Yeah.
He puts on this hilarious, like, rich doctor accent. But it felt cool because it felt like an episode of Clue, because now all 3 of them were involved. Because usually you just see Liv and Clive go off to do an
Right.
assignment. Now Ravi gets to play a character, so I thought that was hilarious.
And I also love that Ravi like is clearly not about that life, because like as soon as it's time for him to go do this like, you know, sting operation, he's like, all right, listen, I'm gonna need like a safe word, because I can't go up in there. Like, what if something bad happens?
That's
like,
a fact, though. If you guys ever had to go on a secret mission, I know if I was, like, wired and I have to go and I'm like, what's my safe word? Like, you guys have
Would
to
it
come
be
in.
pickles?
It might be pickles. His safe word was pickles. That's hilarious.
I'd be freaking out. I would not want to trust anybody. I don't
Facts.
think I could actually go through with it.
No, me neither.
I'd be sweating and like,
I felt like I felt like it was a super quick wrap up of like I feel like it wasn't the main focal point of this episode. Like, it was something that was a part of it, and obviously they had to include it because it's part 2. But I feel like that was like the smallest detail in comparison to all the other stories that were going on. So it was nice to see a quick wrap up of it. They catch the bad guy. Cool. He has a scar on his hand from the incinerator. We're done. Like,
Straight to the point.
yeah.
I guess that would be that's an easy way to catch him because it's like obviously, who else would have that?
Yeah, obviously you did that, you jerk.
Yeah, jerk.
Terrible person.
Jerk.
Terrible person. Yeah, it is good to see Robbie whenever he is incorporated more into the storyline rather than just trying to figure out the cure or being inside the morgue area. It's fun to see him in the outside world, especially when he's involved with everybody else and you get to see more of his personality. Like last episode, we got to see the fun little
Crop top wearing.
yeah, crop top wearing Robbie. Let's get into Major and the kids and the love that's going on with these children. Did we not call this?
Yeah, we definitely saw that little makeout session happening. And especially in this episode, I feel like we see a lot of glances and a lot of like googly eyes and whatnot. So I was like, oh, they're making out soon.
No, like Jordan, the young lady, the cadet who scratched Tucker, she was annoying me at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
She was, because, I get it, like, she's young and she's super cocky and she's super prideful. But then towards, like, the middle, towards the end, I started to like her a lot. But I love that Major kind of played this role because you see Chase kind of, like, check them and go off on them and say, like, look, we have to figure this out. We have to find this phone. We have to find this video. What's going on? So I like that Major is kind of like the big brother in this situation, and they end up having a good time, and they each have each other's back. So I love that relationship developing with the three of them. It's like, yes, Team Major.
I do too. I also thought it was really interesting, speaking of Major, that, when they're tracking down the video from Tucker, who's the kid who got scratched last week, when they end up in the church, the like moment between him and Angus, I felt like, first of all, I love Angus.
Angus is
do.
like,
I don't know why.
Angus is my favorite.
I think you and Shantiera were saying how you loved Angus.
Yeah,
I love
he
him.
creeps me out. I don't really like him.
Oh no,
What?
I love him, but the like showdown between him and Major, where he was just like, oh, like basically like Major's a lost sheep, which we've kind of been saying, like Major used to be like for the kids, like would do anything to just protect the kids, and now he's kind of like straddling that line of like we're not sure where he is. And I like that Angus kind of called him out, and I wonder if that's gonna like reflect how Major goes throughout the rest of the season, like if that's gonna be something that Major thinks about.
Because he had that look on his face. I was like, yes, Angus called, even though Angus was taking it a little too far. And he's like, on the devil's side.
The devil's
But when does he
clothing.
not take things too far?
Right, but I did like he did. Now Major will now think about it, because it's true. Like, we know Major's being like the good guy, and though at the beginning, Fillmore Graves kind of started off as a good thing at first, but then it just took this weird left turn, and now the zombies in the community can't stand them. It's like zombies against zombies, because Angus and his crew, they feel like Fillmore Graves are protecting the humans, and the humans are more important, and they need to stick up for us. So it's like you see this weird turn with like Fillmore Graves.
Yeah, definitely. But Major, at least we are seeing a little bit of his true colors and not so much the Fillmore Graves side, because it's kind of not the fun Major that we know and love.
Yeah, I love that the kids got him like drunk off wrestler brain, because like obviously we're used to seeing Liv, do these different characters or whatever, but sometimes I almost forget that Major's a zombie because he's not on any weird brain. So it was nice to see him on like a super strong brain, and it kind of gave me like Hulk Hogan vibes.
Hulk Hogan.
He was like, hey brother, like it was just very like Urgh. And
No, that was dope, and it was like 316. Shout out to Steve Austin. I thought that was hilarious, because I want, like, if we can ask him, I want to ask him, like, how was that, and did you lose your voice? Because he had to scream the whole damn time, and like a wrestler voice, and screaming at the whole cast. So I'm curious about that.
you could tell. I feel like you could tell that was definitely something that they're like, what kind of character would you want to do if you have to be on a random brain? And he would be like, wrestler. I got that one.
I want to be a
That
wrestler.
is true. What would you guys, if you guys could be on a random brain, what would it be?
It would be
Anybody, anything, anybody's brain.
I would probably pick.
This is probably a weird question, but I mean,
No, it's just a
right?
cool question
Good
though.
one.
Because I'm already crazy. And
I would
wild.
be like the prime of like Hollywood film, like diva, like debutante, you know, like Zsa Zsa Gabor or something like that. Like I'd be very like
high
end, like diva actress.
But you realize when you're on this brain, you're not that person. You're just their thought process.
Yeah, and I think that would be hilarious.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
would want to be on someone's brain who is like really rich and smart, or like Albert Einstein, like, and then I would do
Agreed.
like a going back, like Back to the Future type thing, and just like cheat everything and predict all these like codes, and I don't know. I would like create a time machine, go back, and
I dig it.
I would
know what I'm
love
saying?
that. I would love to have a very scientific and mathematical
just saying.
brain
Just
and be
create a
able
bunch of
to
ish.
look at math problems and solve them in 5 seconds, because math and science was never one of my strong suits. So I think it would be really interesting to see how a brain like that works. And then I think that would also help you as a person figure out your strong suits of what you're actually good at, because those brains are so different. They work in different ways. I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
Too bad we can't eat brains in real
Too
life.
bad.
Darn.
I'm glad we can't, because it grosses me out. But moving on to Tucker. And, well, we kind of just already talked about them a little bit, but
I felt bad for him though, like
did
seeing
too.
him interact with his like friends, like when he walks into the human bar and like the bartender who ends up being one of his friends' dads is like, Tucker, you know better, you can't come in here, and like, you know, finding out that his girlfriend just broke up with him without even hesitation, and his friends are piecing out on him. And then his friend just gives him a gun and is
that
like,
was so depressing.
you know what to do. Like,
But he starts off with this beautiful love sonnet, like, bro, you've always had my back. Remember that time we got wasted at that party? Since you've always had my back, here's this gun and kill yourself. I'm like,
that's
what?
the thing about this whole zombie thing, is that you can still be friends with each other. You don't
Right.
have to ex-nay these people, because obviously they can be normal, but I guess
Yeah.
it is because we are only seeing Liv's situation where she has a steady income of brains, so she can be normal at
Yeah.
times. I'm doing air quotes if you guys are listening. So I think that's kind of something to think of as this TV show as a whole, is that at the same time, they can't just be normal zombies, because they're not getting the same brain influx that other people in the show are. But it is. I'm not saying that it's okay. I think
Right.
it's terrible that all
No,
his friends
no, you're
are in
absolutely right.
family. But it's just hard. It's a hard situation to be in.
I was going to say, and let's not forget, like, before he was scratched, Tucker and his friends were anti-zombies because they were causing the ruckus out in the street, and they were like, let's get rid of the zombies. So they already hated zombies. So I
Right.
think Tucker kept saying, I don't want to be a zombie. He
Right.
did tell his friends, yo, just kill me. Shoot me in the head. So on one end, I hated that his friend did that. But then in the other part, I was like, all right, maybe his friend feels like he's doing him a favor because he already told him, shoot me if I ever become a zombie. But it was kind of sad and depressing to kind of see him like, all by myself. Like just walking mad depressed. I'm like, bruh, you gonna have to
think
get some
Ivan-
zombie friends.
Ivan in the chat, we know our boy Ivan Soto said that it was very dark.
Yeah.
it was.
It is sad to see those parts, though, because especially this season that it is so hyper-focused on them being separated and kind of putting a big turn on how they're going to officially put these away.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So the question you asked before, which brain you would want to be on, and we got Renji 90998 giving you a major shout out because he said porn star brain.
What? Okay. Moving
I just
along.
LOL and I had to reply to that.
Moving right along.
I do love that Tucker has like a literal come to Jesus moment
Praise
where
the Lord.
he ends up in the church and like, you know, my boy Angus is going off on one of his tangents, and it's obviously really speaking to Tucker, and Tucker's like, yeah, Fillmore Graves does suck.
I just still don't understand how people are believing this, Angus. I just don't understand.
Well, I think it's like they're hungry and they're desperate and they
Right.
need something to direct their anger at, and they need something to direct their energy towards and have something to have some hope in. And that
Gives
is
it to
what
them.
He's the voice of reason right now.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the episode, you see, because you know they're kind of painting Fillmore Graves to be these big bullies. So at the beginning of the episode, you see this young guy a young zombie who gets beat up by Fillmore Graves. So I think Angus is kind of like, hey guys, I'm here for you. This, even though he's not making any sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, are they actually listening to what he's saying?
more money.
No problems. Gotta go back to that always.
Amazing. But yeah, he's the voice of reason right now, which is crazy.
Speaking of voices and reasons, I'm gonna separate those two because you've got Liv and Clive having a realization moment of this open relationship.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was probably an open relationship, but like it hurt my heart to see that Clive was like he was okay, air quotes, with the open relationship.
He's definitely not okay.
But yeah, but now that like he knows that it's actually happening, you could tell that it hurt him. And I just thought it was really funny that Liv was still trying the whole like Michelle thing, who's the police officer, that she, you know, was trying the nasty woman mug that she accidentally swiped, or that Clive accidentally swiped from Michelle. Like, she's trying too hard, but I feel for Clive, and he should get his own side piece too.
But
He deserves one.
He does.
He does. I mean, but he deserves like a real, true love.
He does.
He
But he's
doesn't
in love.
deserve. I know he is in love.
It
with
sucks
her.
because like usually when people say things like that, like, oh, I'm here for open relationship, it's usually one partner that's here for it and not the second person. So because Clive really loves Dale, he wants to, and you know, we kind of call that, but in reality, he's like, nah, bro, like I'm not here for an open relationship. So I wonder like how that's gonna play out because
Well, that makes me wonder if he would actually end up thinking about turning.
what
hope
people will
not.
do for love.
Right.
I kind of hope not.
Yeah, I don't know. But that was kind of our thing. We're like, is Clive going to stay human or not?
Or will Dale maybe turn back since we know that the cure still exists?
Right.
Which, you
That
know,
would be interesting.
since it got talked about tonight, like I would wonder if maybe she'd be willing to go back.
Would you guys like so watching this show, we see the zombie life, we see like the perks, we see the pros and the cons. If you were a zombie and you had the choice to turn back, would you guys turn back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without a question.
Jamaican
100%.
oxtail. You know what I'm saying?
I would
Right.
100%
Oxtail.
turn back because
I would
you're not
definitely.
yourself. You have to constantly go through these crazy brains that you have no control over, and you're losing a lot of your friends. Liv has basically lost her family. She has her friends now, luckily, but you know, you lose people along the way, and also eating brains would give me nightmares.
Yeah.
I couldn't ever get that concept out of my
It's
head.
not even losing the friends or family thing because I'm like a homebody and I can only be around people for so long. It's like the not being able to eat foods I like.
That's the
That
problem.
would be
You
true.
can't
That's the
taste it.
Actually,
the real problem.
could you? Okay, imagine this: you're craving chocolate, craving pizza, craving anything. Nothing is gonna set those cravings because the only thing you can taste is spice. That's gotta be boring.
That's crazy. And for me, I don't like spicy food. So I know for me, I would definitely turn back
Right.
immediately.
Well, also, what's a question about the whole spice thing, which we probably need to wrap this up soon, is that even though she's eating sandwiches, she's eating cupcakes, she's eating chocolate, she doesn't taste the flavoring of it. It's just a different texture in her mouth, which is crazy.
Man.
But really quick, let's talk about Liv and Tim, and she finds out he's not the guy she thought he
Find out
was.
he's what'd you call him, a zombie supremacist?
Zombie supremacists. I just want to say, first of all, shout out to this episode in their 90s rom-com nostalgia. And I love the part where they played the Sixpence of None, the Kiss Me song from She's All That. Because it took me back to the movie She's All That. This movie was super, super rom-com based. So I really appreciated that. That was super dope.
Yeah, but R.I.P. Tim.
Bye, Tim.
Tim
See ya.
Timerson.
See ya never.
The worst last name of life.
But I love it though because Major in his wrestler voice, he's like, well, what's his last name? What do you know? And Liv's like, I actually don't know anything about
Yeah.
him.
She's like, "Ugh."
So she tries to get to know him, and then she finds out he's an ignorant, air quotes, ignorant person who hates humans because he goes to this new church for the zombies where our guy Angus is leading, and he says humans should be food.
Oh
So
my
Liv
gosh.
is looking at her new
Yeah.
soulmates, her best friends, and she's like, I cannot. So
Cannot
recipes
deal
to
with it.
Tim.
Yeah,
Hopefully she
man.
gets a new brain and she gets off this love brain.
Hopefully soon, so she's not fall in love with every crazy person that enters her way. Speaking of crazies, always with the Blaine man. He's a crazy one, and we find out a big revelation as to the backstory of Renegade, which was a huge deal. So this breaks my heart because Renegade is such a strong, powerful woman that we've seen and what she's done for people. And how do you guys feel about this whole Blaine and Renegade situation?
I I feel bad because I love Renegade and she's for the good, obviously. We had someone like Bruce who was for the bad and he was doing this thing, he was killing people. You have Blaine who you want to hate but you kind of love, but you're not quite sure. Then you have Fillmore Graves where you're also not sure what's happening now with Chase. And I love Renegade. She's kind of like a superhero. She's kind of like Wonder Woman.
Is.
So I'm scared. Like I'm scared to like find out. And I just wish that they would actually ask her like what it is that she's doing, because I think Chase assumes that she's just turning people into zombies just because.
Right.
So I'm nervous. I'm really nervous.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those stories that remind you that Blaine's actually a bad guy and like you're not supposed to like him, because that's like a really messed up situation, especially like, you know, with murdering her husband and all of that. Like, it made me sad because I really love Renegade and I hope that like nothing happens to her, or I hope maybe I'll save that for my predictions, but I hope she's rescued. I don't want. But I do love the brain that he was on tonight. I think that's one of my favorite Blaine brains, the loose lips. Blaine brain. Him and Don E. I love Don E. Don E is like my second favorite character right after Angus.
Don E is life. I love how they're literally telling all secrets. Like, imagine you have a loose lip brain, but you're like the owner of a restaurant and he's spilling all the secrets. He's like, that just fell on the floor. That's trash.
Like, how's the organic chemist? That's actually a glorified intern. You just don't.
Oh my gosh.
Telling Tanner we don't pay or you don't get any benefits.
Too
hilarious
good.
brain.
Too good, too funny. But we're running out of time. And obviously, every week we've been doing the brain food segment, but there wasn't really too much brain food that we wanted to specify on. But we do have some news and gossip for you guys.
Woo!
Alrighty.
AfterBuzz
I love
TV
it.
News.
All right, Nakia, take it away.
Alrighty then. So our favorite bad boy Blaine, played by actor David Anders, just had a birthday. Happy birthday on March 11th. He turned 37. So he's a nice little Pisces. Our girl Ally, as we know her, aka Ally and AJ, potential breakup song. So her and her sister AJ, if you guys don't know, her sister AJ is on the Goldbergs,
Yes.
which is amazing. I did not know that. Her and her sister actually just did a really cool interview for interviewmagazine.com, and they have a brand new EP that just came out.
It's
So
it's amazing.
So good.
Are you guys liking the music?
Yes.
I am. I'm a big Ally and AJ.
Same. Ever since Back to Phil of the Future, Ally
yeah.
Mashaka, all the way.
All right, so we're here for the
Cowbells.
EP. So you guys in the chat, we do have a chat room for the people who are listening who can't see the chat room. So we have some people, we have some fans in there. So if you guys are feeling the EP, let us know what their favorite songs are. Our favorite Dr. Ravi, played by actor, I can never say his name right.
Raul
Colio. He's starting in a new movie premiering on Netflix on March 30th called Happy Anniversary. So he'll be playing a character called Ed.
Love it.
I have some news. I don't know if this is like a spoiler because it's all over. It's in a bunch of interviews.
Okay.
And pretty much Rose McIver, who plays Liv, she did an interview back in February, and they asked her what's in store for season 4. And she said that Liv's getting a new boyfriend.
A new
boyfriend. So I didn't think it was a spoiler because there's a whole bunch of interviews about it. And someone in the chat actually said this last week. So I don't know if it was Ivan, or Nakia in the chat room, but someone pointed this out and actually said his name in the chat. So that's what made me did a little digging and I found the interview. So she said to look forward for that. Sometime in season 4, she's going to have a new love interest and they will have a ship name.
Oh, this is serious, guys.
I'm just saying.
Because we've had 4 seasons without a real, true relationship. Obviously, she's had boyfriends here and there.
She had what's his face for a minute, but then he.
What? Yeah. What was his name?
I don't know. He was cute.
He was
Drake.
cute.
Wasn't it
Drake. Yes, it was for
Drake.
Drake.
He was fine.
Yeah.
He was cute.
Sorry.
He was on Secret Lives of the American Teenager.
He
Yes, he was.
He was.
Before we get into predictions, I just wanted to point out that the humans versus zombie dance off. I don't know if anyone in the chat remembers, but Ally Mashaka, who plays Peyton, used to be on a show called Hellcats.
Yes.
CW, where she was a cheerleader and she did all these like rocker dance moves, and those definitely came out in her little breakdown. I was like, oh, okay.
I forgot about Hellcat.
Yes.
Every now and then I'll rewatch season 1 because it was
Amazing.
so fun.
All right. Oh, really
One
quick.
last thing, shout out to our fans, shout out to the people in the chat room because everyone is saying Liv's new boyfriend's name. So if you guys are in the chat, if you guys come on youtube.com and AfterBuzz TV /iZombie, you can see the chat and they're saying what his name is. So
Yes.
I'll leave that a mystery.
Also, guys, make sure you tweet us. We want to be able to hear your thoughts and everything and your predictions every time. I mean, the show comes out a day before, so make sure that you're tweeting us so we can shout you out. But before we wrap it up, really quick, one prediction from me, everybody. Drew, you first.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I am still waiting on my Angus and Blaine reunion, and I think it's coming sooner rather than later.
Cool.
Prediction for me, I feel like something bad is going to happen to Fillmore Graves and Chase Graves.
Okay. My quick prediction would be that we're going to see more of Peyton and hopefully maybe a love interest to brew there rather than, what was it, like the mayor or something?
Ugh, no.
Yeah, something new, something fun for Peyton. And hopefully we'll get more of her as the season progresses. But ladies, thank you so much as always. This has been a lovely recap. I can't wait for Wednesdays every week. It's too much fun.
I'm obsessed.
And iZombie fans, we love you guys just as much. Please tweet us, please comment below, and join us in the live chat every week on YouTube. But before we go, Drew, where can they find you on social media?
You guys can find me on all the things at OKDrewJ.
Nakia.
You guys can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom.
And hey guys, Ally Nasta here from me on Twitter at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at Ally Girl. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.